now think of anything impossible to answer overnight that you want to ask me right now?
Nah, I thought I'd take it easy on you since it's like Thanksgiving. It's our Friday. Let you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, actually, I
I
enjoy.
do have a question.
Oh, yes, Miss Torres.
I think that I should know, and then I should be looking for it. But now that you said that we could ask, then I just asked you. What is that ACL joint, or what is that ACL?
It's in your knee, and hold on, it stands for um anterior. Thank you. See, this is what I meant about calling on you guys. I'm like, I understand it takes a second to pull up information. It stands for ACL is your anterior cruciate ligament, and it means cruciate means cross-like. So it is your anterior cross-like ligament because you've got two ligaments inside your knee. There's an anterior and a posterior one, and they are crossing each other, and so you've got an anterior and a posterior cruciate ligament. You've also got a lateral and a medial. Collateral ligaments is what they're called, an anterior and medial one. And so, but anyway, so ACL tears are very common, and that's probably why you're familiar with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because my son was telling me about the the football quarterback that was a rookie or something, and he was like that he got injured, and then he was telling me, and I'm like, oh, I should know that, but I don't know.
Well, we haven't got to knees yet, so.
Oh, okay.
We're heading down. We're heading downtown because we're on thighs right now. The next thing is going to be legs, and they meet at the knee. So we'll be talking about this. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So what's the MCL?
What?
What's the MCL?
I don't think there is an MCL. There's a. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, MCL is medial collateral ligament. So. You've got these cruciate ligaments, the anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments, they're inside the knee. On the sides of your knee, you've got these things they call collateral ligaments, meaning there's two of them on both sides of the knee. And you've got a lateral collateral ligament and a medial collateral ligament. I'm assuming that MCL is the medial collateral ligament, and they hold the sides of the knee together. Yeah. And those are the four main knee ligaments. I mean, you hope your muscles hold the knees together, but those ligaments help. Yeah. Any other knee questions? Okay, I like that. Okay. So, today, we're going to talk about Eastern massage, and here's why we're going to talk about it. Let me frame this discussion. We don't go into Eastern massage in this class very much at all. And that's not because it's not valid at all. You'll see how valid it is here in a second. It's because we really try to teach you standard U.S. massage, which tends to be a blending of a lot of world massages at this point. So just like the United States is kind of a melting pot, it's also a melting pot of massage, which is a good thing. I will dare saying any massage, and I mean this of like Swedish or anything, just that massage really benefits from being blended with another massage. Really does. But we want you to understand a little bit of the history of massage, and also just, again, this is kind of like understanding systems of the body in the sense that these are things that people in our field talk about. You need to know a little bit about chakras, and you need to know a little bit about meridians, and you need to know a little bit about the philosophy of Chinese medicine and stuff like that, because you're in that kind of naturopathic sort of field. And so we're going to go over Asian massage today. I also want to make a really big point. I prefer to call it Eastern massage, but anyway, massage of the East. Eastern massage came first by a ridiculous amount. So let's look at Swedish massage. Most U.S. massage, most Western massage is based off Swedish massage. Even our deep tissue today in some ways is based off Swedish massage just done deeply. You know, people don't like it when you say that, but that's pretty darn true. We just decided to go deeper and deeper with our Swedish massage, and Swedish massage is Western massage. It is European massage. Well, Swedish massage was invented in about 1800 AD. 1800s, early 1800s, by a gentleman by the name of Per Henrik Ling. Per Henrik Ling is the father of Swedish massage. Per Henrik Ling is the father of Swedish massage. He is attributed with inventing Swedish massage. Miss Cooper, who is Per Henrik Ling?
He invented Swedish massage.
Thank you. Mr. Kandaris, who is Per Henrik Ling, Mr. Kandaris? Thank you, father of Swedish massage. Miss Bolotic, who is Per Henrik Ling?
He invented Swedish massage.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And Miss Hunter, who is considered the father of Swedish massage? I can't hear you. You're muted. You're still muted.
Hey. For some reason the laptop is like messed up.
Okay, but now you're getting feedback. Who is the father of Swedish massage?
Okay, it's that dude.
Yeah! What's that dude's name?
I forgot his name already because of all the technical difficulties.
That's okay. That's okay. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to come right back to you. Miss Giannis, who is the father of Swedish massage?
Per Henrik Ling.
Yeah, Per Henrik Ling. Miss Hunter, who is the father of Swedish massage?
Per Henrik Lin. Now I see it on
Ling.
the board.
Ling. Per Henrik Ling, yes. Miss Torres, who is the father of Swedish massage?
Per Henry Lin?
Yes, Per Henrik Ling. But I like, he's close, you know him well, so it's Henry to you.
Yeah, it's Henry to me,
yeah.
It's my bro.
So in 1800, he developed a system called Swedish remedial gymnastics. Now, there was massage before him. The Greeks had massage before him. In fact, Hippocrates, who's known for the Hippocratic Oath, which is do no harm, father of modern medicine, he talked about the advantages of massage. So there's stuff before this time. But our massage, the massage we all do today, is based off Swedish massage, right? By this guy, Per Henrik Ling, who is attributed, by the way, as being the father of Swedish massage. The reason I kind of did that was, by the way, there's a little bit of discrepancy about that, whether that's true. But anyway, if anybody asks you the father of Swedish massage, it's Per Henrik Ling. And strangely enough, by the way, all the movements in Swedish are French, because somebody later came along and named the movements in French. But that doesn't matter. Asian massage, Eastern massage, we have written records proving it existed in 2700 BC. Now, that means it probably existed long before then, but we have written records proving it existed. Some of the first written records mentioning it are written in this thing called the Yellow Emperor's Classic Book of Internal Medicine. And it was written in 2700 BC. Just to do the math for you, that's about 4,500 years before we ever had Swedish massage. And being older doesn't always mean you're better, but if you've been doing something for 4,500 years longer than somebody else has, you've probably learned a few things along the way. So Eastern massage is the oldest. It's been a system of medicine for much, much longer than we've had massage. In fact, massage just today in the West is starting to become kind of a system of medicine, or something to be used medicinally, medical. Whereas it's always been thought of that in the East. And so we're going to talk today about Eastern massage, just to give you an overview a general overview of different types of Eastern massage, what they have in common, all that kind of stuff. And I want to make a really big point here. I don't have to erase this to make this point. This is a huge, huge oversimplification, but it's an important one because it helps us kind of divide up these two worlds. So, philosophically, Eastern and Western massage are different. You, by the way, in this class are welcome to blend these philosophies as much as you want or keep them as separate as you want. There's good arguments to be made on both sides. But philosophically, they're very different. And physically, how they are practiced is very different. So in general, Western massage has strokes and oil. We almost always use oil. I'm not saying we always do. But if you think about a massage, you don't walk into a room as a Western massage therapist out grabbing your bottle of oil or lotion, right? You would think that was unusual. And you guys all do strokes. You might do a stroke with your elbow. You might do a stroke with your fingertips. But you are doing lots of strokes. Now, I'm not suggesting that doesn't mean you don't press on something. It doesn't mean you don't squeeze something. I'm just saying your massage is heavily stroke and oil based, right? Eastern massage tends to use no oil and no strokes and tends to be all pressure point. Now, those pressure points might be done with the palm of your hand. They might be done with an elbow. They might be done with a thumb. Quite often they are done with a thumb and a palm of the hand. But And occasionally there is oil and occasionally there's rubbing, but in general, pressure point, no oil. Strokes, oil. Pressure points, no oil. Strokes, and oil. Physically, that's what separates them. These are the different styles. Now, I think both people in both these camps would be going, oh my God, there's so much more to it than that, you're oversimplifying. But if I walked into a room and saw somebody clothed, getting pressure pointed, I'd be like, that person is receiving an Eastern massage. And I'd be right 99% of the time. Now, I wouldn't know instantly what type they're getting because there's Japanese and Chinese and Thai and all sorts of stuff, but I'd be right that they're getting Eastern massage. And if I walked into a room and somebody's half naked, appropriately draped, but they're half naked, and somebody is doing strokes on them with oil, I'd be like, that person's getting a Western massage, and I'd be right 99% of the time. Cool? Just kind of helping you divide this stuff up in your head. That's physically how they're different. Philosophically, they're quite different, but maybe not. Ooh, that's leading tab, Scott. What do you mean? I mean this. Again, I am oversimplifying for the sake of instruction here. And please feel free to chime in. Even if you're Miss Monreal, you can chime in. So, if you have any questions or anything. Western massage, the stroke and oil massage, tends to be working on your physical body, right? We're trying to increase blood flow. We're trying to open up joints. We're trying to stretch you to stretch your fascia, your tendons, your ligaments, right? Your muscles. Yeah? Yeah? Cool. By the way, Miss Stanley, really quick review. Tendons attach what to what?
Tendons attach muscle to bone.
Bam. Ligaments attach what to what?
Ligaments attach bone to bone.
Yes. Thank you very much, Miss Stanley. Hey, Miss Harper, really quick review. Ligaments attach what to what?
Bone to bone.
Cool. And tendons attach what?
Muscle to bone.
Thank you very much. So anyway, in the West, we are very much trying to work on the physical body, on the blood flow, on opening up blood flow, on stretching out connective tissue, on this kind of physical stuff. We study structural massage in this class. I'm talking to you guys about pelvic tilt and all this kind of stuff, right? So I'm really looking at the body in a very physical way. In Eastern massage, the pressure points, no oil place, clothed client usually, we are working on the energetic body. And this word energy kind of loses people sometimes. I would like to marry the two here in a second. I'll show you how. But the belief is that there is a life force inside you, that it flows through you, and that it can get blocked up in places. And by pressing these pressure points, again, I'm oversimplifying. I don't mean to insult anybody who's a master Eastern massage therapist, but they would agree that in general what I'm saying is true. I am pressing pressure points to release energy blocks so that your energy flows. And they believe health comes from energy flowing. It's not that energy is really good or bad, it's that it gets blocked up or it flows. And their massage is energetically based. Now, sometimes when I share this information with classes, right, it's very natural to feel like, well, that's kind of weird coming where I'm coming from, right? Has anybody ever seen this energy? No. But has anybody ever seen air? And then when I ask questions of people too, like, and you don't need to raise your hand, this is an internal question, but how many of you believe in a soul? So they are using these terms very synonymously with things like soul, life force, God force. And in a way, you could make these type of arguments. You could start to say, well, wait a second, these spots I'm pushing, there's a knot there, so isn't the knot the problem? And the Eastern massage therapist might say, the knot is a physical representation of the energy block. And the Western massage therapist might say, the knot is causing blood to not flow well. And the Eastern massage therapist would say, blood is a representation of energy. And the Western massage therapist would say quite the opposite of that, right? But they're starting to say the same things. And think about yourself when you have problems. What I'm arguing is that some of this might be semantics. Really, just literally might be the words we're using. And in many ways, and I'm not trying to convert you to one way or thinking of the other, I'm just trying to expand this kind of concept and say it might be the words we're using that we're getting lost in. But you are a physical representation of who you are spiritually or emotionally or your soul, right? You don't truly believe you're completely your body because that's going to deteriorate at some point. So the point is you might actually, even as a Western therapist, believe some of these Eastern things, or as an Eastern therapist believe some of these things, or you might not believe either one. But what I want you to be able to do is understand the language of both parties and realize the language may not be so different. And in this class, we've actually been spending a lot of time talking about how to help clients with their energy. We call it emotions. And if you don't think emotions are energy, then you haven't experienced emotions. Right? So, and again, along this philosophy of this kind of like this Eastern massage where energy is getting dammed up, it's blocked, and that's what the problem is. The energy is not bad, which I do like that philosophy, just this concept things aren't bad, they're just blocked up. Think about when you've had emotional problems. Sometimes the problem is not the emotion, the problem is that it's dammed up inside your body, right? I'm so angry and I can't express it, or I'm so stuck in this situation I can't fix it, right? It's not exactly the emotion, it's the fact that it can't flow. You know, part of what we do in therapy is literally just get it to flow. It's not, the therapist does not have some brilliant idea. But we often find that talking about it actually helps. Especially if you can change it after we talk about it. But so, again, I'm not trying to change anybody's philosophy or anything. I'm trying to let you understand two different philosophies that may not be so different. That's all. That's the argument I'm making. And I use this type of thinking to help myself relate to different types of people. Right? So I realize the guy who comes into me, he's an athlete, and he's like, I need my hamstring stretched out so I can run faster and whatever. I still understand that there is an emotional component to this person. There's a spiritual component to this person that I also have to address. But I understand how to talk to him. I'm not going to be like, let's align your meridians. That's not very helpful to him. And when I have somebody come in and they say, hey, I feel like my energies are off, if I don't completely agree with that philosophy, I can be like, oh, well, you're emotionally off. There are other ways for me to interpret your language and so that I can relate to you. That's why I'm sharing this. Miss Monreal, you were very patiently waiting. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I was like, is my hand raising thing not working?
Oh, you're in the bottom of my screen and I didn't see it. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. First of all, yeah, I caught those couple dudes that you did at me. That's okay, but you are not referring to me by my other name.
Oh, that's right. Pezantheritis. Goosefoot. I'm sorry, Miss Goosefoot.
Okay. No, my mind tends to be very black and white. Things need to be able to be explained, and you know, what do you call it? What you've taught us so far has made a lot of sense to me because it's very, you push on the air, you increase the blood flow, it all makes sense. It can be explained. Now, with that being said, I have experienced some of the other, which is a little bit annoying to me because that's not the way my mind works. So I definitely have to give it validity because, first of all, it does make sense. But because I've experienced it, yeah, it's hard for me to try to understand it, but I do really believe in it.
Yeah. So, and by the way, there's all sorts of thank you, by the way, for bringing this up. There's all sorts of possibilities. I always say the proof is in the pudding. If something you're doing works, it works. But just because something works doesn't mean we know why it works. Mm-hmm. We've been proven throughout history. By the way, every single generation does this. Every single generation says, those people in the past were so stupid, we've got it all figured out now. And that's happened since the dawn of time. I suspect it will continue to happen. And we've often found out that something did work. We were right, it worked, but we were wrong why it worked and stuff like that. I just like to kind of stay in the mystery. Mm-hmm. And there are certain things that I know are beyond my comprehension, so the best I can do is understand them through stories. So this gets, by the way, I'm not trying to preach for some particular religion or whatever, but this is why there's a Bible, in my opinion, right? There are biblical stories because talking about God is beyond my human comprehension. I would think most people would agree with that concept. Mm-hmm. I would be very arrogant to say that I understand God. I can talk about aspects of God, loving, presence, things like that, but I don't even understand why this is so powerful. Oh, sorry. Spell it right. We know these things heal people. We don't for a fact, by the way. I mean, they do studies on this. We know that touch actually heals people. We know people die without it and stuff like that. And we still can't explain it. So my point is, I think we understand very little. Yeah. And so when somebody's talking about energy, I don't even know that they know what that means. And when somebody's talking about, like, it's all blood flow, I don't even know that I understand completely all that stuff. So
you know how I've talked about my autoimmune issues?
Yeah.
So I have a couple of signs when I know that it's acting up. It's usually like issues that I have with my throat. Those are my first sign will be like I'm kind of tired, you know, but once I start feeling it in my throat, I know that that's my autoimmune issue, and then I back off. But when I'm super stressed and I am repressing emotions, I also feel it in my throat, but it's completely different than the other signals. And it's more of like, it's almost like a cramping, and I know that I am holding garbage in. And so I definitely have become accustomed to listening to those signs, but I've never really looked into it enough to know what it is.
I don't know.
But anyway,
yeah.
So it's interesting. This whole chapter is interesting.
So, but you do make it sounds like you're making a connection that I would make, and I don't understand, by the way. I'm not going to take any farther than this because I don't understand any more than this.
Right.
But I find after working on over 10,000 clients that I started to see this thing of somebody like saying what you said, where they're like, I'm having a hard time expressing my emotions and I'm having a hard time with my throat.
Yeah.
You know, we start to see these kind of things. Or I'm having TMJ, I'm having a hard time using my jaw, and I'm repressing emotions too. And let me just show you from a very simple point of view where that could come. Like, we can make that all spiritual and energetic, yeah, but we can also make it very mechanical. If I am feeling something, like I really want to tell Miss Petrie how mad I am about her joke this morning, but I'm kidding. But let's suppose I'm the teacher, so I can't tell her how angry I am with her. I'm sending a mixed signal to my jaw. I'm literally telling it I want to move it and I don't want to move it. And your body's quite literal. Have you ever been laying in bed and you jerk because you think about moving? Like, so that sends a signal to fire your agonist and your antagonist at the same time. Well, what does that do when you fire your antagonist and agonist at the same time? You're going to create jaw tension. So that emotional disharmony, that blocked up emotional disharmony sends real signals to your body that creates real problems. So what I'm wondering is if both camps are trying to explain phenomenons beyond themselves, and they're just using different words.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And not to even like get into religions, but
It's okay if you do.
The same thing with religions. I mean, they all have some kind of weird, basic, foundation to it that is pretty similar. So I think that even though we're talking about two different things as far as with the Asian, medicine and the way that we look at things, it's still kind of the same thing.
Sure. That's the way I look at it, yes. And nobody in this class needs to look at it that way. Just appreciate the two camps, right?
Yeah.
Which is probably, by the way, not two camps. It's probably 437 camps.
Right.
Right? Or one. So, okay. So that's my whole lead in to this whole thing and why we're studying Eastern massage. Is just to kind of get a little background in really the oldest healing modality probably on the planet that we have recorded records of. Cool? Thank you for chiming in there. Do you need to unraise your hand now, though, Miss Monreal? Otherwise, I'll think to call on you again and again. I'm kidding. Let me share my little slide presentation with you guys. Do we have any other comments, Miss Petrie?
Yeah, I was just gonna say for Miss Monreal, I was just gonna say, have you ever tried acupuncture? I'm not saying that it would work or not work, if it would help you in any way,
Well,
but just like a thought process of where all of this is going.
I did try it for some shoulder pain, and it really did help. I hate needles, but I'm
Yeah,
not
me too.
opposed to it. I've had some Reiki done. I'm definitely open to keeping my mind open.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I never thought of acupuncture for emotional stuff or other things. That's so weird. I just never thought of it in that way, but it would kind of go hand in hand with energy being blocked. Yeah.
Right.
I just never
Well,
thought
the
about
reason I bring it up too is because they actually point out where the blockage is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so those are the areas that they concentrate on the most on that particular visit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. I never considered it.
Just a thought.
One thought about all
I'll
this
lower
stuff.
my hand now.
One thought, the reason I like massage so much and acupuncture and all this stuff is I don't know if acupuncture works either, but I love any type of modality where people can't leave worse, right? So you're only out some time and money. People, they don't stick the needle in your eye. So it's really a safe modality. That's what I love about massage. People are always like, is massage going to cure my problem? I'm like, I don't know, but like you get a massage. And then
I
you
don't
find
know
out.
if you remember Monica.
Yes,
She worked at the Princess and she became an acupuncturist.
I remember her very well.
She spent many years of studying it. Anyhow, I used to see her more on a regular basis, as often as I could, because I had to pay out of pocket. But I went to see her as often as I could, and I was really getting relief from her. And she would tell me things that's going on with my body that I would never even think of.
Yeah.
That I would never even consider.
Yeah. I used to see an acupuncturist too, and the whole time I'd lay there, it did seem to help, by the way, but she also did all the stuff that I would do in massage, and I wondered how much of it was like bringing attention to my jaw. You know what I mean? Like was it healing because of the needles? I don't know, by the way. I don't have an opinion. I just made me think, was it bringing healing to my jaw, or was it the fact that she was relaxing me and making me aware of my jaw that I was healing my jaw, or was it both, or whatever, that kind of stuff. I just thought it was very interesting. And so I wonder about that with massage too. How much of this is just that we're bringing some awareness to an area, or maybe we're rubbing it, increasing blood circulation, or maybe it's all 13, I don't know. It's very interesting. And I just don't know. So let's explore this other area that I don't, let me teach you about another thing I don't know. Eastern massage. So this is just an overview.
Cooper has her hand up, by the way.
Oh.
She's waiting patiently.
You're on fire today. Miss Cooper, thank you for waiting so patiently. Did you have a comment? What did you want to say, ma'am?
Have any of you ever been overthinking a lot and got a headache?
Sure.
That could be energy, right?
Sure. Or emotion, or electrical impulses, or spirit,
Yeah.
or whatever. It's very hard to, yeah. Absolutely. That's exactly what we're talking about. So, how do I want to say this? Some people could argue that all massage originated in Eastern massage, by the way, since it's some of our oldest recorded massage. That's all I want to say about that. It is the use of pressure points, whether they're done with the fingers or the palms, to treat the mind, body, and spirit. And it's a belief that there's not only energy flowing through you, but energy flowing around you. And again, I mean, people walk into a room, they seem to have a presence about them. They definitely have kind of an emotional thing they bring into a room, right? But that's the basis of most Eastern massage. The nice thing I like about Eastern massage, by the way, is it tends to be very holistic. So I feel like in the West, you go get your massage, and then later you go talk to a doctor. And then later you go talk to a nutritionist, if you're smart enough to do all these things, right? But in Eastern massage, it's not Eastern massage, it's Eastern medicine. And Eastern medicine really does take into account your diet, this massage treatment, right? What emotionally is going on. And by the way, other things that you wouldn't think of, like the seasons of the year and stuff. And we do study seasonal depression in this country and things like that. Well, they take that into account. So they really look at this totality of the nature that you exist in. It's all based, I've already said all this, by the way, I'm kind of going through the books version of what I've just said now, with certain things underlined to make your lives easier. It's all based on this concept of life force, energy force, the true you kind of running through you. And this life force in Chinese medicine is referred to as qi. And you'll hear people talk about qi, moving their qi and things like that. So this is what's kind of interesting, though. I like this analogy here. Do you know how I tell you guys in this class, I'm like, you don't really heal anybody. You get the blood flowing and you open up the joints and the body heals itself. Right? And that makes perfect sense to you, I think. You're like, yeah, I don't make the blood do that thing. I just open everything up and the body heals itself. They believe the same thing about qi. They believe the qi is intelligent. Just like I believe your body is intelligent. They believe the qi is intelligent, and if it can flow, it will go to where it's needed. The problem can be that it's blocked, but the qi is intelligent unto itself. So if you get these pressure points going and you open it up, it will take care of itself. Does that make sense? Okay. Chinese medicine is based off this concept of yin and yang. And everybody's familiar with this picture. You've all seen the picture of yin and yang. And a lot of people think it symbolizes just this half of yin and just this half of yang. What they often don't tell you is this is supposed to be a moving picture where yin is turning into yang and yang is turning into yin as it circles around. Let me say that again. Yin is turning into yang and yang is turning into yin as they circle around, and things are always changing. And the movement between the two and their changing is what creates qi and the life force. The life force is created by this eternal change. So again, there's this emphasis on movement. Movement is what's good. And if we looked at a lot of the diseases that we've kind of studied in this class, a lot of the physical diseases that massage addresses are lack of movement diseases. You sit at a desk too long and you get varicose veins in your lower legs because they're bent over the desk too long, and your iliopsoas and your your rectus femoris tighten up and you can't straighten up again. These are diseases of lack of movement. So anyway, yin and yang is this concept of these two opposing forces. They are not good and bad. That is not yin and yang. They are different necessary forces. Let me give you a very simple example of different necessary forces that you all need. Awake time and sleep time. If you sleep all the time, you will die. If you are awake all the time, you will die. Your life is composed of you having sleep and wake cycles, of you resting and repairing and getting up and striving, and resting and repairing and getting up and striving. When you get up and strive, you get stuff that helps you rest, and when you rest, it helps you get up and strive. Those are opposing forces in that sense. They're opposites that need to be together. That's yin and yang. Yin is usually associated with the feminine. Yang is usually associated with the masculine. Yin is dark and cold like the feminine. No, that's a joke there. It is dark and cold, but it's not a bad thing. It's better to think about it this way. Yin is associated with contraction, and yang is associated with expansion. Yin is associated with the home, and coming home and repairing and contracting and sleep. Yang is associated with exploration and going out there and getting things done. They cannot exist without each other. Does that make sense? Cool. Yeah, so when you have pain, they'll say if you're feeling weakness, that is a sign of a yin problem. Or if you're having agitation, that's a sign of a yang problem. That's too much yang, right? Yang is out there. It's already exploration, but agitation is too much, right? And yin is contraction and repair, but weakness is too much contraction. Does that make sense? So these are imbalances within them. By the way, I'm not expecting you to memorize this or know all this. It's just to kind of understand these different philosophies and the ways of looking at health. So I already talked about this. They believe that there are meridians of energy. There are channels of energy. They call these channels different types of Eastern massage and different types of Eastern medicine call these channels different things. In Thai massage, they're called sen lines. In Japanese massage, they're called meridians. And in Chinese massage, I always just turn, well, maybe meridians too. But they're channels. They're rivers of energy that flow through you in your body that carry the chi. And of course, chi goes by different names too. I'm going by some of this because we are not going to study meridian lines. There's too many of them, and that's a separate continuing ed class. They believe there are points along these meridians where they typically can be affected or get blocked up or can be easily opened up. And these are called Subo points. It starts with a T, but they're pronounced Subo points. Or acupoints or pressure points. And they are common areas where blockages can be found and applying pressure can release them. Now, by the way, don't quote me on this exact number, but it's pretty close. In something like shiatsu, which we're going to get to, it's probably about 350 of these points. They're all over your body. You could argue when you guys find a knot on somebody that you're probably on a Subo point, or an acupressure point, or an acupoint. Areas where there's common blockage, right? And there is blockage when you find a pressure point. This doesn't really matter, but actually in acupressure and in shiatsu and all these things, they measure distances between points by the width of the client's thumb. So they can tell you something's like 4 thumbs up from their wrist if you're looking for a particular point. But we're not going to study this right now, so it doesn't matter. Let's move right along. Chinese medicine is based on 5 elements or 5 phases of wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. This is very common. Quite often this isn't completely, that's pretty true. Quite often in Eastern massage, in Eastern medicine, there is a belief that everything is composed of a certain set of elements. In this case, the 5 elements in Chinese medicine of wood, fire, earth, metal, water. And the belief is that everything is a composition of all 5 of those things, but it's predominantly one of those things. And that's where things get their different characteristics. So we might believe in atoms. They tend to believe in these elemental compositions. Doesn't mean they can't believe in atoms too, but that's the basis of it. Let's see here. And the concept is, again, just like yin and yang, that these elements actually feed and nurture one another, and when they're allowed to flow, they flow seamlessly into one another. They also help control and balance one another. So if you have too much wood, maybe you need some fire, because fire keeps wood under control. But there is a belief, once again, in flow and balance. That's the only point I'm trying to make. When you go to a Chinese medicine practitioner, they use lots of different assessment methods. They'll actually talk to you about how you're feeling. They will touch you, listen and smell, looking and taking pulse points. I don't know why your book didn't mention it, but they take pulse points from various points of your body, not just here, but down in your ankle and all sorts of things, to kind of determine how strong the flow of blood is in your body and energy is in your body. These are just assessment things. These are assessment things that everybody uses. All right. So that was Chinese medicine. I realized that was a really fast overview, but seriously, in this class, it's just the level of depth we would get into that. I will tell you, you all have to take 3 days of continuing ed every 2 years. And so if you ever want, you can take a class just on Chinese medicine for 3 days. You will not be a Chinese medicine practitioner. People go to school for 4 years for this type of stuff. But you could take a deeper course in it. Or Tuina massage, which is Chinese pressure point massage, Tuina. You could take a course just on one of these types of massage. And you could do that in 3 days, and do a passable, in this case, shiatsu massage, which is Japanese pressure point massage. Now, by the way, I don't think the Japanese would appreciate me calling it Japanese pressure point massage. But when you watch it, you'd be like, yep, that's an oilless massage, and they're doing pressure points. And they are doing pressure points to release meridians of energy again. Same concept as Chinese massage, except they don't always agree on the meridians. So some of this changes, but the same overall philosophy. And shiatsu actually means finger pressure. The word actually, it means finger pressure massage. And it's usually done with your thumbs or palms of your hand. There's also something called Zen shiatsu. I'm pausing here because to distinguish between Zen shiatsu and shiatsu, I think it's kind of insulting of shiatsu. Zen shiatsu is supposed to be a more meditative form of shiatsu, where you operate from your hara, which is the center of power in your body, which is believed to be down in your abdomen, down here. This is the focus, central portion of power in your body, and you're supposed to move from that. Yes. That's a very common theme, though, in all Eastern massage, is to move from your center, of power. And you'll even see, when you see people doing things like Qigong and these type of things, they are trying to move from their center. They actually move differently because they're trying to carry their core with them. It's the belief that their center of power is down in the abdomen. And so the practitioner is trying to do that. And why is this important? Because there is a very interesting difference in most Eastern massage over Western massage. And self-care is kind of, for the practitioner, is kind of built into Eastern massage. Here's what I mean by that. The belief is that if I'm your massage therapist and I'm not taking care of myself, I'm hurting myself to work on you, that you're kind of picking up on that too and the massage is ruined. In the West, we wouldn't really think that way. I mean, look at nurses and doctors working 16 hours a day to save your life. We would never think that their health and your health are kind of combined. But in this type of massage, this Eastern massage, the practitioner is supposed to be actually executing the massage in a very graceful, healing manner to them, where their mind is that is very important, and even physically, they're not supposed to be muscling things. You know, we muscle things in class all the time. I do. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm in there like, ah. They do everything with body weight, and if you watch them, everything is a rhythm and a flow, and it's slow and easy, and because their belief is, they're not trying to be lazy, their belief is that if they are muscling things, then they are damming up energy too. So they always have to be moving for their center of power, this place of peace, and a place of health for themselves, and they should not be struggling with the massage either. Yes, Miss Petrie.
Oh my God, it's about time. I lost my question and then I remembered it again. So we have to go backwards, but
Please.
I wanted to ask you if somehow
There is no backwards in yin and yang. What?
You might not know the answer to that.
Probably not.
But you were saying how the elements, and if you have too much wood, you might need fire or water.
Yeah.
So how do you gain fire or water?
In your case, what you would need to do is light yourself on fire. Or hold yourself underwater. Actually, I don't know. Isn't that terrible? I don't know. I suspect...
No, it's not terrible. I didn't think that you would know the answer because this isn't really your type of area.
I would suspect all sorts of things, though. I would suspect this, and some of this is true, actually. Literally, they would say, for example, if you need more fire, like wrap up in blankets and be warmer. Things like ginger, they recommend herbs that are spicy and would warm you up, right? So those type of things I know for a fact that they do. I don't know what herbs, and I don't know whatever, but they associate certain herbs, certain activities, certain things with, right? So, which isn't that far-fetched. Sometimes we tell people, oh, you need to cool down the fever. That's too much fire. We're going to cool it down. We're literally going to ice the person down. The fever is too high. So that kind of thing. So yeah, they would recommend warming herbs and warming behavior if you needed fire. Yeah, I don't know what they do for wood. Woody herbs? Eat some bark? I don't know.
Well, then I was wondering, how can a person be too much earth? Because it's being down to earth. How can a person be too much earth?
Well, can I answer that question when we get to Ayurvedic medicine, which is still Eastern massage, but it is a great example of exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, cool.
Cool. I promise you're going to love it. You're going to love it.
All right. I'm
So,
excited.
I'm
gonna
excited.
lower my hand now.
Okay. I'm not used to looking for hands, so I have to look. Let's see. So like I said, shiatsu and tuina, which is Chinese, but shiatsu is Japanese. Palming and thumbing. Any type of pressing, by the way, you could use your elbow, but it's usually palming and thumbing. Thai massage. So, Thai massage is another Eastern massage done with clothing, done with pressure points. There is a big difference, though, in Thai massage over Chinese and Japanese massage. And this is from a Westerner's point of view, so I don't mean to insult anybody. But Thai massage puts a tremendous amount of stretching into their massage. So your book says some people refer to as partner yoga. Some people refer to Thai massage, and they mean this as a compliment, as lazy man's yoga, because somebody puts you through the yoga moves. And so Thai massage, I love Thai massage, by the way, and massages like it. Thailand is in this small little center in Asia, and all the countries around there practice massages like this. And Thai massage is really neat because it tends to have lots of pressure point work with stretching. And I love anytime you take 2 modalities and put them together. I really love when you take 3 modalities and put them together, or 4 modalities. But Thai massage puts stretching into the massage, so they're opening you up and opening up those meridians. They call them sen lines, but they're meridians, they're channels of energy, while they're doing pressure point and compression work, which is starting to feel a lot like pin and stretch to us. You guys heard the term pin and stretch? I hope. Which is a Western approach. So they do, and I don't mean to insult them, because I feel like somebody would be like, that's not what we're doing at all. But physically speaking, they do pin and stretch, right? Or physically speaking, our pin and stretch is their Thai massage. So I love Thai massage. So you've got the pressure point, stuff like that, but you have a lot more stretching involved. It's not the other one's dope, but you have a lot more stretching involved. Beautiful, beautiful massage. And we will steal later on this year, not this year, actually next year, but later on in this class, we will steal some of their moves to put into your massage. I will help you with that, and we will have fun. So I said their energy pathways are not called channels in Thai massage, they're called sen lines. Same thing, they're different channels, by the way, they argue different points, all that kind of stuff, but same concept. Meridians of energy, rivers of energy, channels of energy, sen lines of energy. Chi flowing through you, life force flowing through you. In Thai massage, they work in a very rhythmic fashion. They call it the 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 approach, and it's just the rhythm that they use when they're working on people. Good picture of Thai massage, usually done on a mat on the floor. We will do table Thai moves later to integrate into our regular massage. There's the pattern, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Don't worry about that. We are getting to Miss Petrie's question. So far we've been talking about Eastern massage. We talked briefly about Chinese medicine, which contains Tui Na massage. We talked about Shiatsu. We talked about Thai massage. All of these involve pressure point work, thumb pressing, palm pressing. All of these involve stretching. Thai massage involves an awful lot more stretching. That's what we've done so far. Let's talk about Ayurveda, or Ayurvedic medicine. By the way, it's pronounced I-your Veda, or Ayurvedic medicine. Ayurvedic. Ayurvedic medicine is arguably one of the oldest systems of medicine around. It's Hindu in its origins. And it focuses on diet and massage and yoga and special breathing and the right herbs and all that kind of stuff. So very similar to Chinese medicine in that sense. It's the massage, by the way, that we associate with India. And here's your answer, Ms. Petrie. And everybody, because this kind of gives you a very good idea of what Ayurvedic medicine is about, what I'm about to share with you, but it also gives you kind of an idea of what all Eastern massage is based on. I don't mean it's all based off this, but how the elements kind of play off one another. So, follow me closely. And with your permission, I might even use some of you as examples. The examples aren't necessarily true, it's just a way of thinking about it. You'll see what I mean here in a second. Ayurvedic medicine believes in this concept called doshas. Doshas are this kind of energetic form that you are born with and die with. It's who you are. And they can be out of balance. Dosha actually kind of means fault, although they don't look at it as a bad thing. And they believe that there are 5 elements, kind of like Chinese, right? Who can read me the 5 elements on that slide?
Earth, air,
Wait, you said
fire.
earth?
Yeah, earth, air, fire, water, and space.
Good. Who can read me, just continue actually, read me the 3 doshas down there. At the bottom, the last 3 things, Vata, Pitta.
I don't want to say it.
Vata,
Vata,
Pitta,
Pitta,
yep, and Kapha.
Kapha.
Okay. They believe, just like I was talking about with Chinese medicine, that everything is composed of 5 elements in different amounts, right? Everything is composed of these 5 elements in different amounts. You all have earth, air, fire, water, and ether in you. That's what they believe. But you have it in different amounts. And if you have a whole bunch of a certain amount, you're a certain dosha. When you think of air and space, you think light. A person with lots of air and space in them is a vata. That's their dosha. Vata. A person with lots of fire in them is a pitta. A person with lots of air and water in them is a kapha. They don't look at these as bad, but they do know that things can get bad with them if they go too far. Let me give you an example. I do not know that this is true, but this is how it goes. When we think of air and space, we think of light. If you are a vata, you tend to be slender and light. You tend to learn things very quickly, but forget them very quickly. You're light. You're breezy. Vatas don't have very good digestions necessarily. They don't eat a lot, right? Pittas have lots of fire in them. Pittas have amazing digestions. The fire burns up everything. Pittas put on muscle really well. They also have fiery personalities and get angry sometimes. Kaphas. What do you think of when you think of earth and water? What happens when you mix earth and water together? You can say it.
Mud?
Mud. Thank you, Miss Cooper. You get mud. That does not mean they think kaphas are mud. Kaphas gain weight really easily. Kaphas are slow to learn, but they never forget. Kaphas sleep like a rock. They need 6 cups of coffee in the morning to wake up. They've also got the incredible endurance. Once they get going, they just keep kind of going along, right? None of these are considered bad. They're different. So, what happens when they get out of balance? When the Vata gets out of balance, Vatas don't sleep well. They already don't sleep as well as Kaphas. They don't sleep well. They're not keeping weight on. Their digestion's really bad. They can't remember anything, right? They're not grounded enough. They need some earth and water in them to pull them back down to earth. This kind of ties into what you asked about, Miss Petrie, right? They don't have enough earth in them. Kaphas, great digestion. They sleep well. That's great. But I also don't want to be 300 pounds. Can't wake up in the morning, right? And Pittas, fire personalities, fire body types, great, that's great. You've got muscle and you digest well, but you are also angry and, that kind of thing. That's not good either. Now, they don't think all people fall into these 3 categories. They think a lot of people are what's called a dual dosha. So, for example, I am probably what they call a pitta kapha. You can take tests on this stuff. They ask you all these tests and stuff, questions about your habits and things like that. When I took mine, I come up as a pitta kapha. Great digestion, put on muscle fairly well, also put on weight fairly well. I am actually slow to learn, but I actually have a very long retention period. Those types of things, right? I am not a Vata. There's just no way. But I bet you some of you in the audience, some of my students could probably identify with being Vata. But you're like, that doesn't completely describe me. I might be Vata Pitta, right? So they have different combinations of these. But what I'm trying to explain to you is they believe that, they still believe, by the way, a Vata or a Pitta or a Kapha has all 5 elements in it. But Vatas have a lot more air and space. Pittas have a lot more fire. Kaphas have a lot more air and water. And what they try to do in Ayurvedic medicine is make sure these things are in balance. Because when they get out of balance, they're a problem. The Vata can't sleep, the Kapha can't wake up. The Pitta can't calm down. And that's the concept. And it's a horrible generalization, but that gives you a feel for Eastern medicine. That concept of elements working together and needing to be in balance. It's a horrible generalization because somebody in Chinese medicine would say you've completely missed what makes Chinese medicine unique, and I would say you're absolutely right. I'm completely ignorant of that. But it is an elemental-based system. They do believe that elements compose things. They do believe they need to be in balance. They do believe they feed each other, and that's true in all Eastern medicine. Yeah? We won't get into Kapha Pitta Kata anymore. I always say this wrong, but it's not hard to say either. Prakriti is your constitution that you were born in Ayurvedic medicine. You were born as a Vata, or you were born as a Vata Pitta, or you were born as a Kapha or Pitta Kapha, and you die that way. And your job, if you know you're that way, is to learn to keep that in balance. And think about it, this is some of our life lesson, right? All of us know that we are certain ways, and that there are certain things that we have to do to kind of keep those things in balance, you know? Some of us know, like, hey, I'm kind of a hothead. I've got to kind of watch my temper. Other people are like, hey, I have a hard time getting out of bed. I've really got to make sure I get to bed on time because otherwise it's all over for me. We learn this as we grow. And so we do actually learn to work with ourselves. Nadi, which really is pronounced Nadi, are their channels of energy. So again, channels of energy, meridians, sun lines, nadis, those are just channels of energy in Ayurvedic medicine. That's it. And instead of calling it chi, they call it prana. Still life energy flow, still same concept. Still follows this horrible, huge generalization I made of an entire half of our planet, but still follows that. Okay. Last but not least, if you are a massage therapist and you hang out with other massage therapists, you can't go a week without somebody mentioning chakras. So I'm seeing some people nod. Because you can't. So, chakras are based on an energy line concept too. I don't know where it originated, by the way, but I do know it's one of the most common beliefs now. Chakras are a belief, and I actually think they tie into Ayurvedic medicine as well, but there's a belief that there's kind of an energy connecting me from heaven to earth. From heaven up here to earth down here. And I need that connection. I need connection to the earth, and I need that connection to spirit. And there is this meridian of energy that flows up through me. And I have 7 energy points on my body. Each one is considered higher than the one below, it. And these are called chakras, and there are 7 of them. And we will look at them briefly. And they're associated with colors and all sorts of stuff, but let's look at them very simply put. This is a very good picture of the chakras. By the way, your first chakra is your lowest, your 7th is your highest. let's talk about them really quickly. So your lowest chakra ties you to the earth. It is your root chakra. Some people call it your root chakra, your first chakra. It ties you to the earth. Located at the base of your spine. In your perineum, by the way, which is really, really at the base of your spine. Right between your legs is where it is. And this is the chakra that's supposed to provide the energy you need for survival, to kind of deal with things on earth, so to speak. Second chakra is up a little bit higher around your navel, really, just a little bit below it. And some people call this your sex chakra. It's not all about sex. That's not why I call it that. But it's your reproductive energies and your sexual identity and a lot of your emotions in that area too. Then your solar plexus, your third chakra, fire chakra, your sense of self, your self-worth, your confidence. Think about it. You can kind of feel it. Like, that's me. Yeah. We go up higher to your fourth chakra. What's right under here? Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. My heart chakra. Number 4 is heart chakra. You hear a lot of people talk about this. Like, they'll be like, I'm stretching the client like this. And you're like, why? I'm trying to open their heart chakra. And I'm like, that's cool. And you're also, by the way, stretching out their pectoralis major and their anterior deltoids and their coracobrachialis and the long and short heads, their biceps brachii. You're doing both. Just depends on which way we want to talk about it. What's your question? Is it a question, Miss Peachy, or you just want to laugh? No?
No, actually it's a statement. So, when I was learning about basic grounding, I was actually taught to do it barefoot on the grass to try to be grounded with earth. And then you basically go through every chakra of the body for any pain, any emotional stuff you're going through, and you ask earth to release it from you.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't look at the first chakra as bad, and the seventh chakra. Yeah.
Basic grounding that I was taught.
Cool.
That's like the first of it. So you spend only like 5 minutes a day. You stand barefoot in grass. You just basically tell the universe what it is that you're asking for that day. And then you say, anything that my body is holding on to, please release that from me.
Yeah.
That I don't need.
Yeah. I love that.
That's it.
I love
That's
it.
all I had to share.
Thank you. No, thank you.
I will lower my hand now.
So, number 4, heart chakra. Oh yes, Miss Monreal, please. We're just getting to your throat chakra, but what did you want to say?
Well, I was going to say something, but I can say it later. It's just in reference to Miss Petrie, but I'll let you go on with your thing. And
No, Miss Monreal, I actually like it when you guys interrupt because I don't like to be on this soapbox for 1 hour straight. So please have somebody else talk.
Okay. Okay, so just in what she was saying with the grounding, so I would look at that from an emotional aspect and see how it could be beneficial. But just from the physiological aspect, they say that because we are indoors a lot and the shoes we wear and everything, we actually don't get the magnetic pulses from the earth. So just from a physiological aspect, grounding, I can see like how that would improve. But then from the emotional aspect and going along with this thought principle, also you're getting the same thing. It's just whichever way you look at it. I don't know if you guys had ever heard that as far as the grounding and what it actually does to you.
Do you want us to all answer, or is that a statement?
Oh, I don't know. Like, have you heard this? That if you look at the sun without any actually makes your hormones reset
Yeah.
for the day.
And if you do it in the afternoon for 2 minutes, it burns your retina out.
Well, we don't want that. But I'm just saying a lot of these practices that can have different meanings depending on your thoughts, actually just have like a physiological aspect to them, which benefits our body as well.
Or do they have a physiological aspect because they have the other aspect? Or do they have the other aspect because they have the physiological aspect?
True, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
I don't know. Yeah, that's why we just do an overview of this. But you're absolutely right. Yes, we. Who knows? Who knows? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So number 5 is your throat chakra right here. And Miss Monreal, this is not a joke by the way. Miss Monreal just exercised hers. It's very good to exercise yours. You don't want to have problems in your throat chakra because it has to do with your communication. So that's number 5. Number 6, it's called your third eye, by the way. It's your brow chakra. Some people call it your third eye. Intuition is what they associate with this, that kind of knowing you have. Like when Miss Torres says, I know you were going to call on me. Mr. Tapscott, I knew it. Using her 6th chakra in her forehead. That's where your intuition is supposed to be located. And then last, but certainly not least, is your crown chakra. They call it your crown chakra. It's your 7th chakra. It really is on top of your skull. It is supposed to be your connection to the divine. It is your enlightenment. It is your knowing we are all one. Connection to divine. So connection to the earth, way down here. Connection to the divine, way up here. Earth 1, divine 7. Earth chakra 1, crown chakra 7. Yeah? Cool. Thoughts, comments, anything before we take a break?